Hi, my loves. Here's the next edition of what you're learning in my class. Energy is flowing all around us. So, what is energy exactly? Well, energy is the ability to do work or cause change. That's right, the ability to do work or cause change. And always remember, energy flows. So, how do I know that energy is even there? How do I know that energy is around us? Well, that's where we come in contact with our two types of energy. We've got something called potential energy, which is stored energy. Then we also have kinetic energy, which is the energy of motion. Potential energy, stored energy. Kinetic energy is the energy of motion. So what exactly does that look like? Well, let's take a look at this drawing. So KE, from now on, KE is going to stand for kinetic energy, and PE is going to stand for potential energy. So I've drawn two pictures, or two sets of pictures for you. For the KE, I drew a car driving on the road, because kinetic energy is dealing with the energy of motion. The car is in motion, therefore it has kinetic energy. Then I have potential energy, and potential energy is a little bit different. It's expressed in two different ways. Elastic potential energy, and you'll see that I've drawn two different springs. One spring is a little bit more spread apart, the other spring is a little bit more compressed. Elastic potential energy deals with things that are stretchy or that can be compressed, kind of like a rubber band. Then we have gravitational potential energy, and you hear the word gravity in there. So we're dealing with the height or the position of a particular object. And you'll notice in my picture that I have a hill, and you see a person sitting in a little cart, and they're saying, oh no. They're sitting at the top of the hill, which means they have the most gravitational potential energy. Gravity has to work the hardest to get them to come through. All right, well, what if I don't have those particular examples? What if I don't have a car in motion, or I don't see a rubber band or a spring toy, or I'm not seeing somebody that's on top? How do I know that energy is there? I can't necessarily see energy, but sometimes I can see the effects, or I can see the energy flow. And that's where this is going to bring us to what we call our forms. Potential energy and kinetic energy are expressed in forms. You'll notice that I've listed for you the different forms: thermal energy, electrical energy, sound energy, mechanical energy, and electromagnetic. And you'll notice that electromagnetic, I gave you three different ways to see that. Light energy is the same as radiant energy, is the same as electromagnetic energy. These are all forms of kinetic energy. Thermal energy, the particles are moving, there's motion. Electrical energy, the electrons are moving, and so on and so forth. Then you have chemical energy, nuclear energy, and mechanical again. Mechanical can be both kinetic if it's dealing with motion, or it can be potential if it's dealing with the position. But chemical, nuclear, and mechanical are all examples or forms of potential energy, the way that potential energy is expressed. Now, the way that you can remember the different forms is by saying R cement. R is for radiant, C is for chemical, E is for electrical, M mechanical, the other E is electromagnetic, N is nuclear, and T is thermal. These are the different forms of electromagnetic energy. Now, this is just part one. Part one is dealing with the types of energy, which are potential and kinetic, and then all of the forms. You will need to move on to part two to talk about the energy transformations. And that's a wrap.